Hello, this is Erick Widman from Passage Immigration Law. And this week I'm coming to you from New York City, actually, rather than Portland, Oregon. This week I'm at the AILA National Conference, an annual conference of immigration lawyers. And we have people from all over the United States, attorneys from all over the world, and we're learning from one another. We have expert presentations on various topics and the latest changes in US immigration law. So it's a really valuable chance for attorneys like me to learn the latest info, to connect with other attorneys. And I wanted to make sure that we continue, however, with our live Q&A so I can answer the very good questions that many of you have submitted. So over to the first question. What if you're born to a US parent outside the US before 1952? Can you still acquire citizenship? So acquisition of citizenship is indeed a complex question. And that's why, of course, you're asking an immigration lawyer. More facts, however, are going to be needed. You're right that the law changed for those born after 1952. And what we have to do whenever we look up an acquisition of citizenship question or the derivation of citizenship issue for a particular client or potential client, we've got to pull out this big, thick manual and look at how the law changed over the years and apply the law that was in effect at the time that you were born at that point. So the law changed in 1978 and again around 2000. Every 10 years on average, the rules changed. So it's possible it's possible you did acquire citizenship, but we've got to find out how long your parents lived in the US. And there's a potential retention issue that we've got to look at. Did they retain their citizenship or not? So for cases from decades ago, we've got to look to see if that retention issue is still in play. It did go away in one of the revisions to the law. We have to look at where your parents lived, whether you were born while your parents were married or not, and which of your parents were US citizens. So a number of important considerations we've got to dig into. Feel free to call or email us at Passage Immigration, and we'll look into this for you. Be happy to help. Next question. My American boyfriend proposed to me 3 months ago. Congratulations. And he wanted me to be with him in the US until the wedding. He said that he doesn't want me to return home anymore. We can relate. We can relate. We know that I possibly could fly in through a K-1 fiance visa. Can you explain to us the right steps after that? I know we'll need assistance here. So yes, you are asking really good questions, and the stakes are high because if you attempt to come in on a particular type of visa that's not the right fit, or if you're coming as a visitor with immigrant intent, there can be big problems. You could get turned away at the border, hit with a bar to coming in on what a CBP officer could call visa fraud. So the good thing is, though, there are solid options for you and your boyfriend, and you're consulting with an immigration lawyer. You're asking this question because you want to make sure you don't have any problems. That's exactly the right thing to do. So it sounds like you're already in the United States and your boyfriend proposed to you. That's wonderful. And that happens a lot. When my Hungarian girlfriend at the time, 20 years ago, was in the US, I proposed to her. And myself and many others in your shoes then figure out my girlfriend, my boyfriend came on a fiance or on a visitor visa. Should we next pursue a fiance visa, or can we go straight to adjustment of status? So you both, like your boyfriend was saying, he doesn't want you to leave. You most likely are strong candidates for an adjustment of status because you didn't have this predetermined intent. You didn't already have immigrant intent on your last visit to the US. Therefore, if you developed genuinely developed immigrant intent because he proposed to you, this is a great way to then proceed lawfully and correctly with an adjustment of status with your new boyfriend who will become your husband. So what you could do is get married and then proceed with filing the adjustment of status paperwork roughly 90 days after your last entry into the US. If you do that, you can't leave the US until you get an advance parole travel document. And you will be able to apply for an EAD work permit. So it's a great option, all in all, if you're prepared to continue to stay in the US like your boyfriend and soon to be husband would like you to. The fiancé visa option is another solid option if your family overseas wants you back and you want to prepare more and you don't want to get married immediately. You could leave the US, your fiancé would petition for you with the I-129F fiancé visa petition, file that petition, and then closer to a year from the time you file it is when you would be able to come into the United States on the fiancé visa and get married to him. So that's the second main way to do it. There's a third main way to do it, and that's getting married outside the United States. And your spouse at that point would petition for you, his wife. You could also get married in the United States and then leave and do consular processing. That's still part of that third way I was referring to. That's an option. So we could keep going and talking about this for a while. Feel free to get in touch with further questions, but I hope that helps. All right, next question. I have a brother who is a lawyer back home, but I know that petitioning for him as a family member is a long process. If he will be applying for a visa based on his credentials as an attorney, what are his options? Okay, cool. We like helping lawyers, that's for sure. You're correct. If you're a US citizen and you're trying to petition for your brother, your sibling, it is a very long period of time, and often 15, 20 years for that petition to get approved so that he can get a green card. So most likely it will be faster if he can have an employer petition for him instead to come work in the United States. So there are different options depending on what country you're from. For example, Canadians and Mexicans could pursue a TN visa. Or if your brother, the lawyer, is entrepreneurial and wants to set up his own law firm in the US and could pursue, for example, an E2 visa, if your home country has a treaty with the US allowing for that, that's also a possibility. But the main consideration is that he would likely need a job offer from a company if he's not starting his own company and has the capital to do that. That can be challenging, but there is a need for good lawyers in the US, the largest economy in the world. All right, next question, and the last question. I'm a student who wishes to study abroad. I was wondering what type of visa would suit me. Thank you. Well, thanks for the question. And a student who wishes to study in the US would apply for an F1, F as in Frank, F1 student visa for a typical 4-year degree program or master's, even a PhD. There's an M as in Mary vocational degree for those not doing more academic F1 type of work. So the US State Department has great resources on their website. I would type in study abroad, study in the United States, US State Department, and you will see lots of good, reliable information. You're going to want to apply for your student visa after you get admitted into a particular program, and the university or school that you're applying for has got to issue you an I-20 form. So that's one of the key steps. You got to get admitted. They're going to want to charge you lots of money, but many people from around the world find it's a great investment to get that education, become excellent at English, make connections, and then oftentimes go on to get a job through the OPT optional practical training step, and then maybe move to H-1B. And if you want to continue to live in the US, it's a great option that opens doors for you and your whole family. We are so glad everyone continues to send in such great questions. I'll be back with better lighting next week. Won't be on the road. And I look forward to speaking with you guys then. Have a great week and take care.